About a month and a half ago, a police department held a criminal investigation against Von Miller. The reasons for this investigation or why it took place have not been revealed to the public yet, but this got some people wondering about where Von Miller would be in the future. But in the past few days, we have gotten some news about what the future seems to be for the former Super Bowl MVP. Von Miller was a star outside linebacker at Texas A&M, and he was the top defensive prospect in the 2011 NFL Draft, ending up getting drafted with the second overall pick to the Denver Broncos, right behind Cam Newton, which is funny, we'll get into that later. But Von Miller came right out the gates as showing as one of the best defensive players in the league. In his rookie season, he ended up getting 65 tackles and 12 sacks, getting Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he followed up on that in 2012 with 18.5 sacks and 68 tackles. In 2013, he got suspended and had some problems there, but then he continued on a spree of dominance. And then in 2015, he managed to win Super Bowl MVP after carrying that really strong Denver Bronco defense to the Super Bowl against Cam Newton. And as expected, like I said, Von Miller managed to sack Cam Newton 3 times in that Super Bowl and end up getting the game-winning strip sack, winning MVP of that game. And since then, he has still been always one of the best linebackers in the NFL. But then in the 2020 NFL season, he ended up getting a foot injury in the preseason. I actually made a video about that. And he was out for the entire season, and now, like I said in the intro, he's gone through some criminal investigations. But recent news suggests that Von Miller will end up staying as a Denver Bronco for the long run. Before I continue on with the video, if you guys can take 1 second to like and subscribe to my channel, it would be really helpful and helps me make more videos like these for you guys to watch. And if you guys want a shout out to your channel, make sure to comment down below and we can help all of our channels. And now let's get back into the video. Miller is currently sitting on an $18 million salary for 2021, with $7 million of it guaranteed. And some of you might think that that's a lot of money for a 10-year player, especially a player who's been having lots of injury and off-the-field problems. But I think it's a solid amount of money. It's also pretty similar to the amount that JJ Watt has just recently been paid. I made a video about that. You guys should definitely go check that one out. But Miller is the type of veteran leader that the team needs, since currently they're a pretty young team that's trying to get past the struggles that they're having, especially with the quarterback issues. But on the defensive side of the ball, they have some young players such as Justin Simmons, and then they have new rookie wide receivers like Jerry Jeudy and Pittman. So this team is ready to play well. All they need is a solid quarterback, and then Von Miller could be that defensive player, again, kind of like JJ Watt, who is a leader on the team, who has experience. He has been to two Super Bowls. He does have a Super Bowl MVP. He has been in the situation before, and he is a very clutch player that any team would want. But in the case that he doesn't end up staying on the Denver Broncos, I'm sure a lot of teams would want a pass rusher like that. Although many teams might want Von Miller, the GM for the Denver Broncos has made it pretty clear that he wants to keep Miller for the foreseeable future. And it's understandable since, like I said, he's the type of leader that you want in the locker room. And we haven't heard Von Miller's word about this yet. We haven't actually heard much about him in this whole situation and this whole police investigation situation. But at the end of the day, he does have the final word. So I don't know if he's going to go anywhere. He might want to leave because the Broncos aren't in the best situation. But he has been mostly loyal to the Denver Broncos for most of his career. And I have pretty much no idea where he's going to go. But now I'm going to list off some teams that I could see potentially signing Von Miller. A solid option for where Von Miller could go if he does leave the Denver Broncos is the Dallas Cowboys, and this is because it's a similar situation to DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware spent most of his years with the Cowboys, but then ended up spending his last few years on the Denver Broncos, and he lined on the opposite side to Von Miller, and he was a great leader to Miller and really helped Von Miller get to where he is today. Von Miller has even credited DeMarcus Ware for helping him get out of the whole suspension situation and getting him back on track to being a great NFL player that he is today. So DeMarcus Ware spent his last few years on the Denver Broncos and won a Super Bowl there. So I could see that happening to the Dallas Cowboys. Miller is in the same situation where he spent pretty much all of his career as a legend for the Denver Broncos. He can sign with the Dallas Cowboys and sign with a team that has a lot of talent around them and has this team that looks very strong on paper. They just need to end up putting it all together and get a better coaching staff. Since before the season started last year, the Dallas Cowboys were expected to maybe even be Super Bowl favorites, but we all know what happened. They even managed to get bottom in the NFC East, and now they're in complete shambles. They have not even signed Dak Prescott yet, but I could see them signing Von Miller if they're able to get things straight. Another team that I could see Von Miller going to is the New England Patriots. And bear with me, this is not just me being a biased Patriots fan, but if there's one coach in the NFL that knows the strengths of Von Miller as much as the head coach of the Broncos, it is Bill Belichick. Because Belichick has had to deal with Von Miller for so many years, and he was the Achilles heel of the Patriots, not including the Giants of '07. That was still very sad. But Von Miller has been terrorizing the Patriots' offensive line for so many years, and Belichick has got to see firsthand how strong Miller is. So why wouldn't he try to go out and try to search for Von Miller? I've seen him do it for other players before, like Randy Moss. He's seen how good Moss is, and he signed Moss, and we saw what that happened in '07 before the Giants shut them down. So Miller signing with the Patriots would be really cool, and I would love to see it since he's such a scary pass rusher. But the thing is, would a player with the name such as Von Miller really want to go to the New England Patriots in the offseason? Sure, they still have a very strong defense, but they're not really a team that's ready to reach a Super Bowl or a team that's even playoff bound at this point. I mean, if I was a free agent player, I wouldn't want to go to the New England Patriots. Maybe this is just me hoping, but I can see it happening because of how much Bill Belichick knows and respects Von Miller. The final team that I'm going to go over in today's video that I believe Von Miller could sign with is the Buffalo Bills. And this is not just because the Bills are a good team, but it's because Von Miller has only a few years left in the NFL. And kind of like JJ Watt, who was also rumored to go to the Bills, Miller would obviously want to try to chase another Super Bowl ring. And what better team to sign with right now than the Buffalo Bills? They're currently a really young, talented team striving for that Super Bowl ring. So Von Miller could come there as that veteran player and really show with that experience and bring that defense together for them to finally be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and reach the Super Bowl. This is just a prediction, and there's no real evidence that Von Miller will even go anywhere, but these are just three teams that I see have a solid chance of picking up Von Miller if he does go on the trading block. With that being said, that'll wrap up this video. This has been AC Analysis talking about Von Miller's situation and which team I could see him going to. And like I said, he might not even go anywhere, and this video might not actually accumulate to anything, but if you guys enjoyed this video, taking 1 second to like and subscribe would be really helpful towards my channel. And leave your thoughts about this in the comments below. And if you want a shout out, make sure to also comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.